All right, what is going on, everybody? We are back with some regularly scheduled programming. We're going to talk about the NBA playoffs. We're going to go through the bracket once again, like we've always been doing throughout these playoffs. Talk about a few games, and yeah, try to keep the video a little short. If you like what I have to say, like the video. If you have your own opinion, comment them down below. Just like the vibe, consider subscribing. I did upload a video yesterday, one of my most comprehensive videos about Dallas Mavericks. If you want to check that out, I'll put a card on the top right corner. Just click it, it will take you right to the video. And yeah, let's just jump right in to the playoff bracket. Um, some things are pretty much the same since the last time we talked. The West really hasn't moved that much, um, but we will talk about it nonetheless. The Thunder are still waiting for the winner of Nuggets Clippers. It is tied 3-3. We're going to a game seven. We will talk about the last game and game seven for that series. The Timberwolves beat the Lakers. I talked about that at the end of the Mavericks video, and they are waiting for the winner of Rockets Warriors. Uh, the Timberwolves won the series 4-1 in pretty convincing fashion. I will touch on that a little bit here in a moment. And the Warriors lead the series after dropping a game in Houston 3-2. They're in Golden State tonight to maybe perhaps close out the Rockets. The Rockets did put the beat down on the Warriors, so we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll get another game seven. And in the East, we have some things wrapped up. We have some series that are set in stone. I think I talked about some of these, but I'll talk about them again because why not? Um, the Cavaliers will play the Pacers after they swept their matchup in the first part of the bracket. They swept the Heat 4-0, and the Pacers won against the Bucks 4-1. This series is super interesting, because I feel like the Pacers match up really, really well with the Cavs. However, I think the Cavs are just a well-oiled machine at this point. They've had a lot of rest. They had a couple more days rest than the Pacers. Now that can either be a good thing or a bad thing. The Pacers are a relatively young team, so they can just come out of the gate and just really put the beat down in game one, perhaps. Um, game one doesn't have a start date yet, so we'll see when that happens. But overall, as a series, it's the boring pick, and I think the Pacers are on a really good roll. They exercised some demons, beating the Bucks in the fashion they did, and the Bucks are probably heading for a rebuild. So that's always a confidence builder for a young team like the Pacers, for a young point guard like Tyrese Halliburton to be vindicated, sort of in a way, because he's been called overrated. He's been overrated. He's been called overrated by his NBA, um, I guess, brothers, so to speak. And there's been a lot of stuff said about Darius Garland, who did not play the last two games of the Heat series. He's the Cavs point guard. A lot of people have been saying they play better without Darius Garland. I'm a big Darius Garland fan. He won me over, I think, 2 years after he got drafted because what did they say? They said somebody came out and said he doesn't know how to play basketball. That was years ago at this point, but it's coming up again that Darius Garland isn't a good player. Um, and I think it's going to be tough for Darius to shake that narrative when you have to go against another All Star point guard and Tyrese Halliburton. But I think apples to oranges. It's really going to come down to how bad do the Cavs want this series? How quickly do they want to get out of this series to play what would probably be the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals? I don't know. I think it's going to be tough. I don't think the Pacers are going to give anything easy. I think unless Tyrese or somebody really has a great stretch of like 2 weeks, this might be a 5 game series. Moving on to the second half of the bracket, the Knicks won against the Pistons in a 6 game series. They move on to play the Celtics, who have been waiting for like maybe a week now. Um, we'll talk about the Knicks Pistons game. I'll talk about this series overall. Knicks Celtics. Everybody's saying that the Celtics are just going to wipe the floor with the Knicks. And I'm not gonna sit here and try to act smarter than I am and be like, well, the Knicks have a chance. I don't think the Knicks have a chance. I think they messed up in really not closing it out in 5 games. I think they really messed up. They're not going to get a lot of rest. The Celtics have had a week of rest essentially. They have a couple guys who are banged up. Um, Drew Holiday essentially didn't play the second part of the Magic series because he's dealing with something. So they rested him and they got through the series with no problems. Jason Tatum obviously missed his first playoff game with that wrist injury, so he's had time to rest. And these are the things that are so important during the playoffs. And I think it really comes down to the Knicks not having a lot of energy because their coach Tom Thibodeau runs their team so thin. Like it's the starting five and then like two guys off the bench, maybe, and it's showing. And we'll talk about it a little bit more in the case of this last series they played against the Pistons. But overall, I do not believe that Tom Thibodeau can outcoach the Celtics coach Joe Mazzulla. I think Joe Mazzulla, even though being a young coach, is already leagues above Tom Thibodeau. Um, and the way the Knicks have had series where, or the Knicks have had this series where their wings have sort of been exposed. Mikal Bridges isn't really that guy that you thought he was. He had some moments, but he wasn't that guy defensively. OG Anunoby wasn't that guy defensively. And they were just guarding like Tim Hardaway and like um Tim Hardaway and like Cade Cunningham, and now you have to go against Finals MVP Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, who's reached a new level. It's not going to be an easy task, and it's gonna go one or two ways. The Knicks wings and OG Anunoby and Mikal Bridges are gonna have a great series defensively against the Celtics, or the Celtics are just have their number, and they've had their number all year. Um, we'll see. So let's move on to the games that happened last night. Yeah, last night, and then we'll talk about Warriors Rockets because that game is tonight. Um, we'll preview that game, but we'll get there when we get there. The Knicks win the series 4-2 to defeat the Pistons. The Pistons had 113 points in their final game of the season, and the Knicks had 116. This was a this whole series was a slug. It was a slugfest. They were going at it like a boxing match. Um, but the man of the hour, the man of the day yesterday or last night, was Jalen Brunson, as always, coming through in a big way. He hit a major shot with like I think it was under a minute left to get himself up to 40 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds, 6 of 8 from free throw, 3 of 10 overall from 3 of 10 from 3 point range, and 15 of 33 from field goal. He did not have a good game. It was looking like he was going to have a stinker. It was looking like they were going to go back to New York and play a game 7, but he hit the shot that mattered at the end of the game to close out this Pistons team. Um, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, 25 points and 22 points respectively. Again, I think they had a good series offensively, both of these guys, both of the wings, but defensively, I think they got a little exposed. I think they might be a little overrated at this point defensively, but we'll have to see if they can lock down Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown in the next series. I think they might gain some credibility back, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen. Um, just looking at this overall, um, Jalen Brunson 42 minutes, Mikal Bridges 44, OG Anunoby 44, and Carl Anthony Towns 27, 10 points, 15 rebounds. Um, I really liked Carl Anthony Towns this series, and as much as I said just now, like moments ago, that Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby are going to play a big part in this next series against the Celtics. Carl Anthony Towns is going to be depended on a lot. And the issue for me is that I don't think I don't think Tom Thibodeau uses Karl Anthony Towns enough. Like he'll use Karl Anthony Towns in a pinch, but like man, there are some times where you'll Carl will get the ball because he's obviously the second leading man, right? But man, he needs more plays. He needs more active plays. There needs to be more Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns pick and roll. And I'm not sure if they're gonna be able to get it done in this next Celtics series because the Celtics have so many guard defenders. They have so many good defenders like um, Drew Holiday, who we don't know who play yet, Derek White, um, Payton Pritchard, who isn't a really positive defender, but at least he tries. Um, and they're going to be able to switch almost everything, especially if they run certain lineups against this Knicks team. And you have a guy like Josh Hart who played 13 minutes, who played 35 minutes, only had 13 points, but he had 5 personal fouls, 10 rebounds. He's the type of guy that the Celtics might not care about. And he had some great Josh Hart had some great moments against this young Detroit Pistons team, but there are some things that Josh Hart does that the Celtics are just not going to allow to happen. They're not going to have these sloppy mistakes. They're not going to have some of these bad turnovers. They're not going to let Josh Hart get in the rhythm that he needs to get in defensively because that's what Josh Hart is at this point in his career is defensively. He can have great games. He can have like I think he's had 30-point games before, but those are few and far between. Um, so we'll see. We'll see. More talking about this series and how the Knicks close it out. Um, Carl and Jalen Brunson had great individual performances. I would like to see them work more together. I'm not sure if that's a scheme thing, if that's like Jalen just likes to pound the ball because he really likes to pound the ball, and Carl just sort of sits in the corner as the big man shooter. I don't particularly like that, and I think it's something that when it comes down to winning or losing a series, for the Knicks, it's going to come down to the scheme. The offensive scheme is bad, and it's going to come down to the minutes these guys are playing. Because at certain points during the third and towards the beginning to middle of the fourth quarter in this Pistons game, and through a lot of the Pistons series, they look gassed. They look tired, and they did themselves such a disservice. Again, I'm going to keep mentioning it by not closing this thing out in five. By not closing it out in five, because if you close it out in five, you get more rest. You're not going to be able to get that rest that you really needed, especially for a guy like Jalen Brunson who is not 100%. He looks like he's like 75, 80%. So for this Pistons team, this was overall a great year for them. I think they took huge strides. I think this team construction was so good for a leapfrog year. You really jumped into the playoff contention, the playoff hunt, and I don't think you're gonna leave that spot as long as Cade and Jalen Duren and a lot of these guys. Asor Thompson is healthy. I think you really leapfrogged a couple teams. Obviously, some teams missed the playoffs because of injury and because of other things, but I really do think that this was a great stepping stone year. Um, talking about this game, 23 points for Cade Cunningham, 9 of 22. Did not make a three. Jalen Duren, 21 points, 6 rebounds. Cade Cunningham also had 8 assists, 7 rebounds. Note that. Tim Hardaway Jr., 7 points. Didn't really show up this game, but that's what you kind of expect from Tim Hardaway. I would have put all my my eggs in that the Tim Hardaway basket. Asor Thompson, all series had great defensive moments for a young guy for his first playoff run. Super, super good. 17 points, 2 blocks, 3 steals, 1 assist, 6 rebounds. Amazing night for him. The whole series he played great defense, but especially last night, really, really good stuff. I was really surprised. I'm an Ahmed Thompson guy. I like Ahmed a little bit more, but both these guys, the Thompson twins, man, they're amazing. They're an amazing amazing pairing of brothers. both both were in the playoffs this year, and both obviously Astores and the Pistons are out, but Ahmed and the Rockets are still in it, at least for now. Tobias Harris, 14 points. Um, 5 rebounds. Just a regular Tobias Harris game. Um, to talk about the bench and to talk about the guy who a lot of Pistons fans were raving about this season. It bit them in the butt, man. 20 points for Mikal Beasley. Yeah, Mikal Beasley. Mikal, yeah. I said it wrong last time, and now I can't even remember how to say it. Um, Mikal Beasley, 20 points, 6 of 13 from three. He was a heater last night. Only took 3-point shots. um, and he was destined to take the last shot when the game was close, and the ball got swung to him on the close side of the floor, and it it went right through his hands, man. It went right through his hands, or at least that's what I thought watching it live. It did not go right through his hands, however. It it swung to him, and I think it swung to him at sort of a weird angle, and he wasn't ready, even though you should have been ready. You took 13 threes. You should know that's what you need to do, is be ready, especially in these moments. And he got it, and it bounced off his hand, Butterfingers, and it just went out of bounds, and that's how they lost the game. Um, they lost it by 3 points. So they could have gone to overtime. They might have still lost. They might have won because the Knicks were really gassed, but man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, man, oh man. Uh, Crushing season from Malik Beasley. The things he said post game, I won't talk about because they're kind of outlandish, but is what it is. Great season for the Pistons. I look forward to seeing more of them next year. Um, we can talk about what they can do in the future in another video, but for now, great season for the Pistons. Great series by the Knicks and Pistons. Um, Congrats to the Knicks to moving on. The next game, Denver Nuggets versus the LA Lakers. The LA Lakers won this winner go home game 111 to the Denver Nuggets 105. This series has been equally as physical and eventful as Knicks Pistons was. Um, I I think let me give my prediction for Game 7, because Game 7 is important, and then we'll circle back to this game. Game 7. I don't know why. I have this feeling, and I'm gonna look so wrong if it's wrong, but whatever. I have this feeling that the Clippers might win it in Denver. I think they've shown enough throughout this series that they can they can sort of they can survive if and only if Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, the duo in Denver, only have like 20-ish points. Now, if either of those guys have 30 plus points, then they're in trouble. But the separator for the Clippers is really the whole starting five. It's so important for this whole starting five to be on the money. Um, Kawhi Leonard this game, 27 points, 10 rebounds, had some crazy shots that he made, some crazy shots. I really, really enjoyed um, watching this game and watching Kawhi Leonard. I loved watching him this whole series. He's looked really, really good. I can't stress that enough. He's looked amazing. 10 rebounds, 5 assists for him, only 1 turnover, no fouls. 11 for 22, not the best efficiency. He did knock down a couple of threes though. Ivica Zubac trying his best on on the Nikola Jokic. He wins the battle sometimes, some nights, other nights not so much. But he had 10 points, 6 rebounds. Only took 6 shots, made 5 of them. James Harden. This is what James Harden needs to do in Game 7. He had 28 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds, only 3 personal fouls, only 4 turnovers. He is trying a bit more on defense. He had 2 steals, 1 block, 3 of 8 from three. Took 5 free throws, split his overall field goal, 10 for 20 overall from field goal. Um, he needs that he needs this game in Denver, or better if the Clippers are to win this next game. Norm Powell also needs to have a good game. You cannot disappear Norm Powell. Norm Powell this game had 24 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals. Hit some really really big threes. Only made two, but took six of them. 9 of 15 overall from field goal. Chris Dunn. I've said this before. I'll say it again. Not really out there for offense, out there for defense. Trying his best on Jamal Murray and Christian Braun of the like. Um, both these teams are running pretty thin. Last night, neither of the benches really got off. But the real big thing off the Clippers bench was Nicholas Batum. Um, 6 points, 3 blocks, 2 steals, 6 assists, 5 rebounds in 34 minutes. He came off the bench. He was huge for them. Um, Clipper. I was on Twitter and I was looking on the Clippers like fan pages and stuff, and I was looking at some Clipper fans' tweets, and they were begging for Nicholas Batum to start because they thought the starting lineup would look so much better because then everybody in the starting lineup can slide down to their natural positions. James Harden at the one, Powell at the two, Leonard at the three, Batum at the four, and Zubac at the five. He did not start, but in crunch time, that was the lineup essentially, um, and it worked out brilliantly for them. Nicholas Batum is a vet. He's been around. I like Nicholas Batum. I think this is the kind of team that he needs to be on. He was on the Clippers previously, and then I think he got traded to the Sixers, and then in free agency he came back to the Clippers because he was like, I like this team so much, you know. So yeah, I'm not hoping for the Clippers to win, but I think the Clippers in moments have a better chance against the Thunder than the Nuggets. But if Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray come out in game 7 and they both have like a crazy game, the Clippers lose this. The Clippers lose. That's just how it is. The 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 Nuggets have a better duo of Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray in the playoffs than the duo of Kawhi Leonard and James Harden. That's just what it is at this point in James Harden and Kawhi Leonard's career, and that's what it is at this point in Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray's career. They are playoff risers. They rise so high into the stratosphere for this Nuggets team, especially under a new coach. Um, we'll monitor that situation because Coach Tyronn Lue for the Clippers has been in these situations. This is this guy's first time first time in the playoffs in a game 7 situation. So we have to see what kind of adjustments um, Coach Adelman makes for the Nuggets. Um, quickly, some numbers for the Nuggets: 19 points for Aaron Gordon, 1 steal, 1 block, 5 rebounds. Didn't play his best game, but played hard. Played 41 minutes. Christian Braun, 14 points. Not much else. Took 4 threes, split them, made 2 of them. Um, Not really an offensive weapon this series, but has done a pretty substantial job on James Harden. Michael Porter Jr., 5 points. I would not be surprised if Michael Porter Jr. got moved to the bench and they started Russell Westbrook next game, this game 7. I wouldn't be surprised, but at the same time, we'll see what happens. Um, Overall, again, the Nuggets bench really didn't have anything except for Russell Westbrook. They are running very, very thin, and I mean, what choice do you have? I mean, the other guys you could play are Dario Sar, Zeke Naji, Hunter Tyson, Vlatko Konchar, um, Jalen Pickett, Julian Strother. None of those guys move me. And we will move on, I think. We'll move on. We will talk about a little bit about this game 5 Warriors Rockets, where the Rockets just absolutely blew the socks off the Warriors. We won't dive into it too deep. I do want to preview um this game 6. That's tonight. Um, it's in Golden State, and I think the Warriors have a chance to come out hot, really, really punch their ticket. And I think the Rockets will come back as they have a lot in this series and go on a run, make it really close, and the end of this game is going to be close. Um, I think the Warriors have the experience. I think the Warriors have the know-how. The thing that worries me about the Warriors is that they don't know how to keep a lead. The leads sort of wane and go and ebb and flow. And the Rockets, they showed in Game Five, they can just really get it going and don't know how to stop. They want to run the score. They want to run you out of the gym. And it's going to be tough for the Warriors to match that because the Rockets are hungry. And I know the Warriors are hungry. They're somewhat healthy. Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry are both dealing with things. Um, Steph Curry with the thumb. If you haven't seen his thumb is freaking huge. Um, Swollen. It's swollen as all hell. Jimmy Butler obviously still dealing with that pelvic injury. He took a fall, not this game, but the last game in Golden State, and he got up and he was sort of uncomfortable. So you have to monitor those two things when watching this game six, because game five was not anything spectacular. But Steve Kerr did do the smart thing, I guess, when you're just getting blown out. The starting five, nobody played 30 minutes. He played a lot of the bench. He cleared his bench pretty early, got the starters some rest. So it is a positive thing. Not that they lost, but that Steve Kerr didn't try to win the game. He was just like, hey, we waved the white flag. Rockets got this one at home. This is the one they were supposed to get. Um, Opposed to the Warriors, the Rockets had three guys with 20 plus points in the starting lineup, two guys with 10 plus points, um, and really put the beat down on the Warriors. Their bench, however, the Rockets, everybody played on their bench. Not a great performance by the bench, which is something interesting. Where even in a blowout, these guys on the bench really couldn't get going. Which I'd be more concerned for the Warriors' chances if somebody off the bench had 20 points in garbage time because that builds up their confidence. Nobody really had a good game off the bench for the Rockets, even though it was a blowout. Um, it did get close at some point during the fourth, but Steve Kerr wasn't putting the starters back in, so the Rockets just ran away with it. Um, I think the Warriors win this game. I don't think it goes to Game Seven. I think if anything, it comes down to the last shot. It hasn't come down to the last shot. Um, Besides like a last second heave by Fred VanVleet in Game Four. So I think the Warriors can close this one out and really use their toughness, use their veteran savvy against this young team, and really push them to the edge and break them. And hopefully the Warriors do not have to go back to Houston. Because if they go back to Houston, I don't want to say anything. They're going to win this game. Any other games? Let me check real quick schedule. Are there any other? Nope. This is the only game at 9 p.m. So we'll see what happens. Weekend games. You have the Clippers in Denver. Oosh, I'm dropping my phone and everything. Oh. Oh, okay. Wait, okay, hold on. Uh, yeah, the Clippers are in Denver on Sunday. That's the only game, or Saturday, and then on Sunday, if needed, Golden State in Houston, and then Game One of Cleveland Pacers. It's on Sunday. Yeah, that is it. I did just get something flashed on my phone. I'll read it for you guys because I think it's just so funny. Not funny, I should say. This always happens to LeBron, or happens. Um, Story by Dave McMenamin. Um, LeBron James suffered a grade 2 MCL sprain in his left knee from his collision with Dante DiVincenzo in Wednesday's Game 5. League sources told ESPN the injury entails a 3 to 5 week recovery timeline. LeBron always coincidentally gets injured, and it's the reason why they lose, isn't it? um, Anyways, I said I'd keep it short. We're just about to hit 30 minutes. I have nothing else to say. This playoffs has been great. I hope this round two is great. Um, I hope Game 7 is good for the Clippers and Nuggets, and I hope Game 6 for the Warriors and Rockets is good. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. Check out my other videos, and I'll see you all next time. Cheers.